Jesse, what was your first thought when you knew you were going to Melbourne?
Pretty overwhelming actually. I didn't really, when I first heard it, I didn't really know what to think. It took a while to sink in because I was with my brother and he's always been a big role model, so we just sort of sat there for a while and sort of thought about it, and then we got really excited, as you would.
Did you have any indication that Melbourne were likely to take you at the combine?
I personally didn't feel that they were too keen, but yeah, they looked at me a few times. I thought a little bit about it, but not overly. Yeah.
And what was your first impression when you were interviewed by Melbourne, when you walked out of that?
Yeah, a little bit intimidating. Yeah, I had a few words that Melbourne were pretty fierce. They really wanted to know the questions that they want to know. They don't beat around the bush. So yeah, pretty intimidated.
What's your plans for next year? Because you can't play until 2014, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I guess I'll play with one of the VFL clubs and just train with Melbourne and just develop my body and my professionalism and stuff, and then hopefully next year transition in a bit better than, yeah.
So running around for Casey, I guess. So you like, what do you hope to get out of the year? Like, do you have goals that you set yourself?
I haven't set goals yet, but I'm looking to do that. I guess just to develop my body and just to watch how the rest of the boys go around at the professionalism and just that sort of thing. Yeah.
Does that present as a better option rather than staying in the sort of the junior system and having another year?
Yeah, it's just I have to look at it as just a year advantage over the rest of the kids that are my age that are going to go next year. So yeah.
And that's what excited you about the opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They seem to have fairly high hopes of you and expectations. How does that sort of sit with you?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it too much really. Yeah, try not to put too much pressure on myself, I guess.
What do you describe yourself as a player, Jesse?
Pretty competitive. Yeah, I hate losing. So yeah, that is.
What sort of things did they ask you at the combine?
Just if you're worth waiting 12 months for. I'm not allowed to say this stuff. I'll cut you off if you go too far. Yeah, just questions. Just to see if I'm confident. Just to see if I do think that I'm good enough to go as a high pick, and if I am worth waiting in the break, and how I'd go interstate, away from your family and your girlfriend and stuff.
What did you say to them when they asked what you were waiting for?
Yeah, well, I sort of knew the questions were coming actually, because a few of my friends told me about it, so I guess it wasn't too bad. I tried to be really confident, and that's what they sort of look for, so I just said, yeah. I guess I just said, yeah, I can develop my game really well in that 12 months, and I think it'd be a good investment.
When do you make the move over to Melbourne officially?
We're not too sure yet. It's either sometime this month or next month.
Who do you base your game on, Jess?
I guess Matthew Pavage or the Jonathan Brown sort of player, like real competitive, and not Matthew Pavage because he's not really, doesn't sit in the 40-50, he sort of runs around the ground and tries to get his ball. Yeah.
And you're happy to maybe go to Victoria's or something, sort of sticking with you?
Yeah, it's a home of football and there's always something to do here, so yeah, something I'd have to think about for a while, but it's most likely over interstate.
What do you like about Melbourne as a football club?
I actually haven't had too much to do with them really. I haven't really followed them too much, but yeah, no, they're obviously one of the oldest clubs and a very good culture, and it's really interested and excited to get involved in it.
Why were you so keen to get Jesse, Mark?
Well, we've been, like all clubs, our recruiting department have been closely following Jesse this year, so we went back and also had a look at some of his work prior to this. When we knew that we would be at the pointy end of the draft, we certainly narrowed our focus, and Jesse was right. We did put him under a little bit of heat in his interview, but not that it was all based on that, but he presented himself as exactly what he's doing now. A very confident young man who plays a competitive brand of footy, and we certainly ranked him where at that pointy end, and we were quite pleased with the deal we did with GWS to get him. There's not, we do have high hopes for Jesse. However, our expectations will be realistic. As the seasons go, there's not too many young teenagers that are stepping straight into the AFL and having immediate impact. And we may have been down that road before with Jack Watts, and some of the unrealistic expectations that were placed on Jack in the early part of his career. We're certainly not doing that with Jesse. We will have a progression plan for him. We're thrilled with the knowledge that he can be here for 12 months. We've done something very similar with Jack Viney, and Jesse's conditioning and his his strength development. David Misson will be in full control of that, and footy learnings, myself and the assistant coaches, same thing. We've got almost an 18-month window before Jesse's eligible to play league footy, so we think that's a great advantage. We had a quick chat with Gold Coast about how they managed that this year with Jager, and we had a quick chat with some of the boys from Adelaide about what they did with young Crouch, and so we're really excited by that. But we've got a progression plan where we're fairly keen that Jesse pals up with Mitch Clark, and we're able to, not ease him in, but again, our expectations won't be in round 1, 2014, that Jesse comes and takes X amount of marks and kicks X amount of goals. We're setting Jesse up to be a long-term performer for our footy club.
I guess physically, he's a big boy though. He's bigger than the average 17-year-old. Does that excite you?
Yeah, he's pretty big. There's not too many. What are you, mate? 195, 97 kilos about. Yeah, it's not too many 17-year-olds wandering around, but that's part of the attraction, no doubt. Big, powerful key forward, and we'll give him the best opportunity to succeed.
With the Jack Watts comparison, is that something that the club sort of learned from, and particularly determined not to sort of, I guess, make that same mistake of just pumping him up too big too soon? Or?
Well, I think part of that, part of that's media-driven, supporter-driven, and people tend to get excited, especially at this, at this time of the year, and that's up to us to manage and make sure that we put everything in place that we feel, and I'm sure Jack does as well, that he's still coming under a fair whack of scrutiny for whatever reason, but we're just putting it out there that we have realistic expectations, and for example, using other players at other clubs sometimes not the right way to go, but Tom Hawkins, his last couple of seasons have been brilliant, but prior to that he came under a lot of scrutiny outside of the Geelong Football Club, and not within it, and so we're just saying we see here a player that's worthy of a really high pick, there's no doubt, but Jesse is 17 years of age, and we're about to move him across the country, and we've got 18 months lead in, like I said before, and he'll come here with the idea that he's going to be a 10, 12-year Melbourne player. That's what we're setting him up to be.
I know it's 12 months down the track, but next year, do you treat him like the influx of new draftees you have next year, or because he's been here for the year, you're expecting just that tiny little bit more, maybe to guide those blokes when they come into the club as well? Yeah,
there'll be a little bit. Jesse will follow a very, very similar program to the one that Jack Viney's followed this year, and we've been really pleased with what we've done with Jack, and we're going to do the same with Jesse. Jesse won't play every week in the VFL. There'll be some weeks where we might take him out of playing footy, and he might do some, might emphasise his endurance training or something like that, but those decisions will be made as we go, but that's a sort of skeleton plan at the moment.
What's one bit of advice that the Suns of Adelaide gave you in relation to managing a 17-year-old?
Similar things to what I've just said, Pete, realistic expectations, understanding that this, Jesse's 17 years of age, and to have that, but just a progressive program, and Jesse will start training with the boys, the whole group, as soon as possible, but the expectation is that he won't be doing 100% of the program, because that's unrealistic, and those sorts of things. And just, little things like living arrangements, things like that. He doesn't drive yet, so we've got to get all that under control.
Are you still at school, Jesse?
Oh, no, I finished year 12.
So will you do anything else? Do you plan to do anything else next year, or just fully
Well, I'm not quite sure what my program is, and I've got to see when I have time, and once I find out my complete program, I'll look into it.
Is it nice for you to have someone like Jack Viney, who obviously it's a little bit different because he didn't know definitely that he was getting picked up, but to have someone to look up to who's been through it?
Yeah, for sure, just someone just to sort of sponge off, and someone sort of gone through the same sort of thing I can talk to about, see how he went through it, and certain things that might come up that I can ask him about, and all sorts of things, yeah.
Do you plan to latch on to Mitch Clark a bit too next year, being another WA boy, to learn a bit from him if you're going to, as Mark says, play alongside him in a couple of years' time?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's definitely one of the guys I've looked at. When I watch Melbourne, he's one I watch really closely, and if I can get to anything off any player of the game, just to leech off him and learn as much as I possibly can.
He's staying in his place tonight. Yeah. Straight away we'll start it. So Mitch is really keen to play the mentor role.
Mike, just ask about Chris Dawes, where that's at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, you can. So we've chatted with Dawsey a couple of times. Again, we've been, really open. We are using the 3-week trade period to try and improve our list, and we're happy to have a look at everything or everyone that may be available. We owe that to the core group of players that we've got at the moment that we're really confident about their futures. We're trying to add some certain types to our list, and yeah, so we've chatted with Dawsey. We expect a decision from Chris, as do a couple of other clubs, by the end of the weekend, and I think that was reported in the papers this morning, and that's certainly no doubt the person who wrote the article is well resourced, because that's the information that we've got as well.
How confident are you that he could choose Melbourne?
Yeah, we have also been told that we're one of 3, so at the very worst we're 33 and a bit % chance.
What sort of indications do you get, and do you think your previous relationship helps at all in sort of trying to persuade him to come in?
Look, it does. I think one of the other clubs, Carlton, I think Mick had a reasonable relationship with him as well. So between the two of us, yeah, look, you play. What that does do, it means that the idea of getting background checks in their character and how they train, and that's not necessary. And no, we use that for everything it was worth. Yeah, Lee Brown and I rolled around to see Dawsey straight away, and he let us in, so that was a good start. And, so, it does. Look, that was also part of the Mitch Clark thing 12 months ago. Having Jade Rawlings on our coaching staff, who coached Mitch while he was in Brisbane, that's really important. And yeah, so we know what type of player Chris is. We'd really like to have him at the Melbourne Footy Club, and we'll wait till the end of the weekend. He may or may not be.
What indication did Scott Gumbleton give you as to where his future might be?
None. Yeah, again, well-researched media, Pete. I thought I was incognito over in Scarborough yesterday, but that didn't quite work. No, I did sit down with Scott Gumbleton. We had a cup of coffee, lasted maybe 30 minutes, and we asked the question again, same thing, just part of the background research that we're doing. Scott's in a position, well reported in the paper, he's weighing up his future. He does have a contract offer from Essendon, and that's up to Scott. I just wanted to have a chat, and he certainly, like Dawsey, is the type of player, plays a position that we need to fill at the club. So no, he didn't. It was just very much a preliminary discussion.
So you'd wait for Dawes to give you some indication before you targeted someone such as Scott?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. That'd be all right. I reckon Clark, Gumbleton, Dawes, they'd all get a game.
So you're obviously relatively happy with the crop of youngsters, not only that you've got coming in this year, but that are here already, in the sense that you're then happy to trade away a few of those picks for established players? Yeah,
for the right type of player in the right role. Yeah, we've got one of the things that we're quite happy to do, or quite confident, if we're going to bring in somewhere between 4 to 6 experienced players, plus 5 or 6 new drafted players, so that's 12 new players. Yeah, we have confidence in being able to do that because of the group of kids that we currently have here. We think they're really headed in the right direction, and they conduct themselves really well, and they'd be able to cope with that, and also be led by the 4 to 6 players, hopefully. But again, Shannon Burns is here, and we'll have a look at a few others, but it's still really early in all that trade stuff to see how we'll finish up.
Are those types here to accelerate the process of moving up the ladder, or is it to gel in with the youngsters to hopefully then still add to the long-term process of getting up there?
Yeah, a bit of both. We would like the players that we bring in clearly to play in the AFL side, so we're only targeting people that will come in, but we've got a certain things that we're looking for, strong clubs, strong culture, certain roles that they want to play, and they're the guys that we're after.
Looks like, I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
Looks like Brent Maloney's off to Brisbane. How do you feel about that? Do you feel happy for him that he's continuing playing elsewhere? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Brent and us and the Melbourne Footy Club, we decided to part ways, straight after the season. And Brent is a good fella, and we wished him all the best then. And my last word, I had a chat with him at the best and fairest, and he spent a long time here, and we thanked him for his contribution to the club, and it's been decided that his future's elsewhere. And I hope if he finishes up at Brisbane that he goes really well. Clearly, I hope he doesn't get a kick against us, but he's quite welcome to play well against the other sides.
Just having missed out on Wellingham, you're determined to definitely get a tall forward and a experienced midfielder out of the next couple of weeks?
To a point. We realise that we've got a couple of healthy draft picks still left. They're not, like we haven't ruled anything in or anything out, again, for the right type of player, but we're just not, we're not going to go down the list and say, for example, well, this person we rank 1, he's gone, and now we're down to the 7th ranked person. That there is a line or a tipping point. We're just not going to throw them away.
Yeah, have you got others you talk to at the moment, though, in terms of midfielder?
Midfielders, no.
All right, thanks guys. Cheers.